Stitch Roadies! Nice to see you here. It's been just a few extra days. I've been kind of keeping busy and time just kind of got away from me. What can I say? I mean, my younger son's family had all recovered from COVID, and so we got some grandson time, which was amazing. G figured out how to put the booster seat in the camper van, and so we took our middle grandson out to the Columbia River Beach for the day, and even though it was freaking cold, we had a blast. We just had a blast, and we are so grateful. We're not only grateful for all the well wishes and the prayers out there, but for our family to come through it. Because when you think about it, you know, our middle grandson, although he's not he doesn't qualify by age for a vaccine, he's you know, he's going on 5, and he's had some colds, so his immune system is a little bit boosted anyway. But the baby was born in COVID, which means that he's like the bubble boy. You know, all those babies that have been born 2020 on, they're kind of like bubble babies in terms of that they haven't been exposed to the common cold, and so their immune systems are not quite, you know, ready for what's coming down the pike. And he was the sickest and the scariest. He ended up with croup from all of that, which is, you know, nothing like a little baby who sounds like a baby seal, you know. But he's fine. He's fine now, and we are all grateful, just so grateful. But life got a little bit busy after, you know, when the doors opened up for this family, and so we have been hanging and doing things. G and I got a lot of things done around the house when nobody could come over here. He organized cabinets, and now he's downstairs organizing his workshop. We figured out that you know, there's things that we have wanted to do remodeling wise since we've moved, but all of that's on hold because you can't find the product, or you can't find the tradesmen who know how to do things. And so some things we've had to pick our brains, because both G and I grew up as young adults in our early married life as worker bees within our family's system, and so we've painted more walls than we want to, and even though we've reached a point in our lives where maybe we could have someone else do the painting, there is nobody. So we're back to figuring out how to do those things, and so we're doing a little bit of things around here that normally we would just have someone else do it, but hey, you know, your choice is to wait and pay an exorbitant price, or figure out how to do it yourself. Yeah. So we're doing a little bit of that. We're doing a little bit of that, which will keep us busy. Today, this week, has been absolutely stunningly beautiful. Blue skies, but it is freaking cold. Freaking cold. Yeah. And the last 2 days have been windy, although there's not a cloud in the sky right now. It's windy, you know. And not a jet trail either. The other day there was like 20. The military jets must have just been practicing or something. There were like 20 trails in the sky. And I hear some kind of a big plane flying overhead. But there's no fog, and it's beautiful blue sky, so we're going to enjoy it. because there's rain in the forecast. I have very much enjoyed all of the comments where all of you gave your comments on what is, in terms of what you think monogamous stitcher versus compulsive stitcher versus off-the-chart stitcher, what that all means to you. And I learned a lot. It's kind of interesting because even when you Google monogamy versus compulsive, there actually is a discussion online about that. And I enjoyed all the different interpretations. Obviously, we all have a little bit of some of that. I mean, some of us are more monogamous than compulsive for sure. And some people are not compulsive at all, but are not necessarily monogamous. Some people are great planners and great follow-through. For me, my stitching life is more like a party. It's more like a party. I will see something and I'm off and running to the races. So today, if you get your stitching out and we stitch together, I will be finishing up a project that I started this month. It seems to me it's more on the not so much monogamous, because I don't feel that, but I do feel a little compulsive about it. And so I started it this month and I finished it and I'll have finished it this month. I'll be finishing it today. And it is the Cherry Hill Stitchery. I mean, when she posted it on Instagram, I immediately went to the shop and bought the download, the PDF file. And it's just a fun stitch, and I had a feeling that it would be one that I would kind of, what is it, those, there's a certain breed of dog that when their jaw bites, they don't let go. That was what I felt like. I'm not letting go. And so this is how far I have gotten on it. So all I have left is in the very bottom row, I have all the black stitching left. That's the only color left to fill in the bottom row. And I will be done with this today. So I'll have to figure out how I want to finish it. I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure, but I surely do love it. And I am full of malarkey, and there is a lot of shenanigans around here. I had my, my floss bling by As the U Flies. There's G and I on a camping trip. Oh, that was so much fun. So much fun. And this is how I tend to, this is how I tend to do my floss on a project. They're in a floss away bag attached to a floss bling. So that was pretty, I'm pretty darn proud of myself with this one. And I know that I will be picking something else out of the whips. I was going, what is that called? No, out of the pile of whips, I'm going to pick something else to kind of focus on. Yeah, maybe it's more like a focus project. I was watching Lady Robyn S, and oh my gosh, she sent me a whole baggie little charms. They're so adorable. They're the year, and so 2022, and she added a couple of the older year charms that she had, and I'm excited about adding those to some pillows. And but I was watching her floss tube, and she talks about she does 24/7, which is it's different people interpret it differently. Like some people 24/7, they would I don't know what the primary impetus for that was. I don't know what it was, but I know that she futzes around with it. Like maybe it's 25/7, maybe it's 25. So 25 minutes on one project 7 days a week, or 7 projects that get 25 stitches. So people are, you know, we make it whatever we want it to be. And although there are no rules for me this year, the only rule I have is finish a prairie schooler, start a prairie schooler. And it doesn't even, there's no time limit to that. It just means when you finish one, you start one. So if it takes me 2 months to finish one, I don't have the least bit of emotional tug about it. It's as soon as I finish it, I'll pick another one to start. And boy, is that ever working for me, because there's absolutely zero guilt or stress around it. So the 25 or 24/7, I was thinking, how could I incorporate that to not create a should? Because, you know, we gave up shoulds. And our word for the year is, mine is acceptance, which is I'm accepting so many different things in my life, but one of them is how I move through this life with my choices. I'm accepting that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I am not everybody's cup of tea. So with that said, I know that many of you keep wondering about the darn trees. And the trees are like the last 5 pounds one has to lose, you know. So I thought, you know, there might be a way where I could work on the trees in some facet of the 25/7 where I don't feel the pressure and I still make some progress, because I would love to finish that this year. A friend of mine came over yesterday, and you know, we did a lot of talking about how we work on things and how we make decisions about what to stitch and when to stitch, what motivates us and what doesn't motivate us, and how that is a part of how we grew up and how we moved through life. And so I was thinking that I might take the 25/7 as a moniker for the trees, which means once a week, so there's 7 days in a week, so once a week I will bring the trees out and stitch for 25 minutes. Now if I'm motivated to stitch longer, that's great, but at least I will have touched it once a week. Because what I found yesterday when my friend Cheryl came over, which she's part of Stitching with Sisterlies, is that she wanted to see, she's a quilter, and she's now diving into the wool world. And so she wanted to see what some of these piles were that were around here. And so I started unpiling the piles, and I found that there was a shift. There was a shift in my soul. Because some of those things I hadn't seen, and it's kind of like with the trees. They're in a project bag that's in the pile of project bags, and I don't bring it out. So it's out of sight, out of mind. And it's the same with that wool stitching pile. And I kind of went, oh, I forgot about this. Oh, look I almost have all of these blocks done. Why am I not finishing this? Oh, I totally forgot about it. You know, that what the hey? So I thought that that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to start bringing the trees out for once a week. Just bring them out and maybe stitch on them for 25 minutes and see what happens. It might be that which is familiar you fall back in love with. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe. So that's the things that you learn on Flosstube. And I know for many of you, as is for me, the Flosstubes sometimes become overwhelming, and sometimes you get interested in other things, and so you're not watching Flosstubes as much, and you're missing or skipping things. And we, as a Flosstube community, we totally get that. We're doing the exact same thing. So it may be that you may not see this, but down the line you might see those trees. That's all I'm saying. You might see those trees. I've been looking at how I keep track of things. That's the other thing. And I had gotten this great planner, which was sent to me by the Fat Quarter Shop. And I thought, you know, planners. Oh, they're the I haven't been a very successful planner. I could never be a wedding planner. Oh my God, I can't imagine the amount of drama and craziness that would occur if I was a wedding planner. Oh my gosh. But this was small, and I thought, I'm going to give 1 month a try and see how I love it. And I love it. I'm loving so far what I'm doing. And possibly, and I'm putting little stickers on it, you know, because that's what people do with their planners. But this, there isn't a big space each day. So it's not like the expectation is to fill in the big space. And then over here, I've just written what I've finished, what I've fully finished, and what I've started. And I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And I'm using this as both for my quilting and my cross-stitching world. And it has proven to me that I'm a winner. I'm a winner. I had no idea. I had no idea I had it in me. I had no idea. I usually am moving around here going, oh, I don't get anything done. You know, I have that voice that belongs to some evil person in the back of my head. But what I have discovered just in month 1, when I include all that I love to do, whether it be embroidery, whether it be wool stitching or quilting, cross-stitching, when I wrote down what I accomplished so far this month, I was astounded. I was astounded. I am a freaking rock star. I was like, wow, is anybody here to cheer for me? I mean, and so what I can tell you is, if you figure out how to use a journal that fits you, it can be eye-opening into who you really are as opposed to who you keep telling yourself you are. Yeah, yeah. Because who you keep telling yourself you are may not be who you really are. So month 1 has been eye-opening, and we are in the final week, 7 days of month 1, and I have gotten a huge, huge plate of information about myself, and I am accepting it. I am accepting it. So I'm going to do it on month 2 and see what happens there. And that brought me to the realization that here on Flosstube and in Instagram and Facebook, when you are looking at what someone is getting done and you're thinking to yourself, oh, they are faster stitcher than I am, they are more talented stitcher than I am, they're getting more stitching done. I had to step back when I did this journal because I realized, hey, I am not a cross stitcher, I am a crafter, which means I have a whole list of passions, whether it be cross stitch, quilting, embroidery, wool stitching, paper crafting, whatever that list includes. When you see someone getting a lot of one craft done, maybe that's the only craft that's their passion. So to compare yourself to an apple when you are one grape in a whole bunch of grapes, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. So that was a big realization this last week. So that's what I've loved about this month, is that I have really been learning a lot about myself in this first month. 2022 is definitely the year of self-realization and acceptance. Totally. I did get another finish done too, and this one totally, I'm kind of patting myself on the back about this, and I'll tell you why. So it's stored in my Punky Pearl, you know, my Punky Pearl binder. I really want 2 of these, but I don't need 2 of them. But it's what I store my current smalls that I want to be working on. And what I was working on, as I showed you last time, was the Stacy Nash Primitives. I will cut you scissor booklet. I will cut you scissor booklet. And I finished it. I mean, I didn't fully finish it. I finished it. And so there we go. Isn't that awesome? Now, what I am very proud about is that it wasn't until I was going to do the letters that I realized that the lettering I will cut you is 1/1. It was 1/1. I kind of freaked when I realized, when I was looking at the pattern, that the letters were 1/1. And I said, Anna, you can do this. You can do this. And I did. think I hear cheering. I think I hear cheering. But isn't that amazing? I'm so pleased with myself. So now I have to do the fully finished part of this, which will be my next step. I think that's going to be so fun. I just love this Punky Pearl binder. She is so clever. You know, just so clever. But look at how beautiful that is. Yeah, great. So while Cheryl was here, I decided that I would work on the Sal that she's doing with Stitching with the Sisterlies, and it is stitching the generations together. And I have it, let me just show you. I have it in this beautiful bag that was made for me and was gifted to me. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, I just tell you, oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous bag. And I've been using my little needle case that was also made for me. My little bee needle case that has the needles and the threader, and oh, people are so darn clever. But this is Stitching Generations Together by Twin Peak Primitives. And as you know, as I said earlier on a floss tube back last year, that I don't know about that cat. I'm not putting that cat on mine. But what I decided to do, if it works, is you see these little bouquet of flowers? I'm going to put that little bouquet of flowers sticking out the top of that spool. I think that'll work just perfectly. This is on 14 count Ada, which is interesting because I have not worked on that, but I like it. And this is how far I've gotten. I'm working on one of the sheep. So I worked on that yesterday while Cheryl stopped by, and we had a little stitchy time together. Oh, this bag is, I love this bag because it's a little on the larger side, and everything fits in there. Everything fits in there. I got my next week is, or this Sunday is Acorn Gathering. It's the Zoom Acorn Gathering 2022, also known as the Gathering of Nuts. And I got my little packet, isn't that cute, that was supposed to be opened when we all gather on the Zoom, so I'm all ready for that. And I know all of you have been waiting to hear if I got Garden Gate. I did. I got Garden Gate. What a miracle. What a miracle. It was so funny. I thought, oh, they're going to run out of Garden Gate. So I called 123 Stitch, hoping that third time was a charm. And I talked to Deborah, who was absolutely lovely. And I couldn't stop laughing when I was telling her the story of how I now have apple cider and I have flax, but what I really wanted was Garden Gate. And she said, oh my gosh. She goes, I can't even explain that. She goes, all I can tell you is when we hang up, I'm going to go pull them myself. and put them in the mail. And she did, and I got them. So, oh, I got my garden gate. So now you can all relax, because I know you've been just dying with suspense. Yeah, what else is going on around here? What else is going on? Yeah. I got a call, or a message, not a call, message, because we're talking Canada, from Trina at the Cotton Harvest quilt shop. I'm very excited about this. I am very excited about this. They were the featured quilt shop in Seaforth, Ontario, Canada, in the 2019 Quilt Sampler magazine. And I met her at a Sue Spargo stitching workshop in Tanque Verde in Tucson. But what I can tell you is that although she is a quilter and not a cross-stitcher, she knows how to enable the cross-stitcher. And so she contacted me and said, I want you to pick out a couple of smalls that you're going to start and send me the DMC requirements for that, and I'm going to convert it to Cosmo threads. Now, I've used Cosmo threads before with embroidery with Crabapple Hill, Meg Hockey. She uses Cosmo threads, but I've never used them in cross stitch. And so the whole idea really piqued my interest, and I said, well, you know, you're enabling me to start 2 new projects, because wow. And she said, yay. And so I picked out a couple projects, which I'll share with you next time. And I sent her the DMC requirements for those projects, and she's converting them to Cosmo threads. And so I can't wait to try that, and I'll share that with you, how that goes. But they carry the whole line of Cosmo threads there. And yeah, that's in Canada. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it because any time we can try new threads, it's a party. It's a party. I'm going to get some black thread out and start doing a little stitching instead of just blabbing all the time. Blabbing, blabbing, blabbing. Yeah. It's kind of fun to have this. I don't know, there's something about this project, the way it was laid out, and the funness of it. Is that a word? Funness? Made me just want to do it. Do it, and do it now. Requirement. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. This is a pot of gold. A pot of gold. So I got I was reading one of the comments, and I just thought this was absolutely spectacular. A spectacular idea. Cindy left a comment that she was doing the Prairie Schooler Santas also, and she was using glow-in-the-dark thread for Santa's beard. Isn't that the coolest idea? I just thought that was the coolest idea ever. And so I'm going to have to try that on one of mine. I can't, I'll have to figure out which one I want to do it on. And it'd be fun to do it on one of the ones that I make for the grandsons. I still have one left to make for my oldest grandson, so maybe on his. It would be fun to use glow-in-the-dark thread, wouldn't it? Oh, that's so awesome that we all share and have ideas. And I'm excited about going to the Farm Girl Gathering Fall Workshop. I think that's going to be awesome. I only have a few things on the calendar for next year, and we'll see how life goes. We'll see how life goes. I like the sewing method, especially with DMC. You know, you don't have to worry about any variegation. One of my favorite authors, I think I've told you this, I could be repeating myself, blah, 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 blah. But one of my favorite authors is Frederick Bachman. And the last book that he wrote was called Anxious People. And it was, you know, all of his books are so character-driven, so character-driven. And he was, and this was an incredible story that you just had to stay on top of who's who, you know, what's going on, and how it all kind of stitches together into an amazing story. Well, Netflix had the book done to a 6-episode series, and so I watched it, and I really loved it. I really loved it. It was awesome, awesome. The only, I would say the only thing that wasn't quite like the book is the person that they casted as the banker. The woman they casted as the banker didn't quite fit what I envisioned from the book. Didn't quite envision from the book. But it didn't take away from the 6-part episode. So if you're interested in that, it is a Swedish, you know, it's a Swedish author and a Swedish show. So it's dubbed. It's not closed caption or subtitled. It's dubbed. So, but you know, when you're stitching and watching, you don't realize that it's not quite in sync. But I loved it. I loved it. And then this last week, what I did, you know, I realized that, you know, when you have, and I know many of you are the same way, when you have a busy brain, or you have sleep issues or anxiety issues, you're constantly working at the process of trying to figure out how to mellow out, you know, to just mellow out, like, yeah. And one of the things, and I've read it over and over again, I tend to, when I get in bed, you know, when we're settling down, I tend to look at my iPad or my phone and read mail, read comments, play games, and I've heard over and over again, and I know, that that's an issue, that you shouldn't be looking at a screen before you're going to bed. And so I thought I would change that behavior and see if I could retrain myself. And I decided that, for one thing, G bought me a sound machine, because it used to be that in the old days, I'm so old. How in the heck did this happen? But when I was in my 50s, I had just such anxiety, and the only way I could shut my brain off was to interrupt it with music. And so he ran a wire from the outlet to the bed, attached it to the bedpost, and then so I could hook the earphones into the bedpost. I wouldn't get flying or lost, and then I could listen to music and it'd make me fall right asleep. Because otherwise I'd be thinking about the kids, I'd be thinking about work, I'd be thinking about, oh, is that guy going to press the button over on the other side of the world? I mean, some of you will totally get what I'm talking about. Or you're married to or have children that totally do that. But, so, I had told him, I said, I'm having a hard time sleeping, and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm starting to get earaches from the headphones that are in my ears now, and I'm thinking I want to retrain my brain to something else. And so he bought the sound machine because, and it has all kinds of weird sounds on it, but the one that I picked naturally, of course, was the sound of the ocean, because I grew up on the ocean. I cannot stay awake if I hear waves crashing. It's like a narcotic to me. And my parents, when I was really young, and they used to fish for food, they would wrap me up in a sleeping bag, and I'd sleep in the sand dunes while they were fishing at night. And so the smell, the sound, oh my gosh, it's definitely like a narcotic. So I have the sound machine, and then I went to Barnes & Noble and I picked out 2 books to actually read. And I decided on the first one to be something that was a no-brainer, not because I tend to read books that are fact-based, or a discussion, that have either a documentary kind of book, if that explains it. And so I didn't want anything that would make me have to think about an answer. And I remembered that when I was in my 50s and still working, I would read Janet Ivanovich's books, One for the Money, she did a whole series, and that they were fun. I made a mistake. Look at that. So, then, apparently, unbeknownst to me, she had a new book out. So I picked that one, and it was the same characters. There were the same characters that were in those other books, but this was a totally different book. And so I've been reading that at night, an actual physical book, not a book that's on a Kindle or anything like that. And between that and the ocean sound, which I turn on as soon as I get in bed, I have barely gotten through three, maybe two chapters, two to three chapters. And I'm a fast reader, but this book is going to take me probably 2 weeks to read, where I used to be able to like finish a book in a day. It's the way I read that makes that happen. And then the other one was a book that was not only suggested by my daughter-in-law, but by a couple of you out there, and that is Crying in H Mart, and I can't wait to start that one. Once I get done with this one, I am going to start that one. And H Mart was always one of my favorite grocery stores. It's a Korean grocery store, and they closed the one that was near in Beaverton. I don't know why it closed, but I was sorry to hear that, because I really liked that market. But I'm interested to read that one. So just little tweaks in the pattern of my life has made things a little bit calmer for me and a little bit more enjoyable. So we're always looking for ways to feel contentment. And one of those ways is to really listen to yourself, not listen to everybody else. You know what I mean? Because everybody else has an opinion about everything out there. You know, everybody has an opinion. And it is really important that you listen mostly to yourself. And I don't know why we have a hard time sometimes doing that. Why we think someone else must know better than we know for ourselves. I had an enjoyable Zoom stitch the other day. Oh, and I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you to watch Palm? You need to watch Palm on Netflix. It's an awesome, funny, tug at your heart, funny movie with Diane Keaton. If you haven't, I don't know if I'm repeating myself, but you need to watch Palm. And then I don't know, I know I showed this on Quote Roadies, but some of you aren't over there, and I wanted to be sure that you saw how awesome this turned out. So, you know, Under the Woolen Willow is, she's an incredible designer and creator, and she's the one that made the Word of the Year pillow for me that had acceptance on it. And she posts things on Instagram, as does Kathy, the Carolina cross stitcher. They'll post things on there that they're going to go for sale. And Michelle, Under the Woolen Willow, she makes all kinds of wool and crafty things. And I saw that she had posted this absolutely adorable, hope I'm not repeating myself, but absolutely adorable pincushion in a blue sugar bowl. And when it arrived, the sugar bowl had been crushed. And I was heartbroken because I know that it's a one-of-a-kind, because she goes out thrifting to look for things to make into other things. And so I was so bummed. And then I got my shipment from the Carolina cross stitcher, which her husband does wood turning, and she posts on Instagram. and I love everything he does. You know, it's a totally different craft. It's not something anybody in this household does, so I have no problems saying, yes, please. And I bought this bowl, this little wooden bowl that is absolutely stunning, and it has Peter's name on the bottom of it. It's all handcrafted. And I thought to myself, I'm going to salvage the pincushion part out of the crushed sugar bowl and put it on this bowl. And it worked. And so, look at this. So it's a little bit of the woolen willow. This got little antique buttons and a hexie. A little bit of the woolen willow along with Peter on the Carolina cross stitcher. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I gotta put some fun pins in that one. Yeah, so I guess what I can say is sometimes when you get lemonade, you get lemons, you make lemonade, that the sun's gonna rise in the morning. The sun's gonna rise in the morning. So you guys all take care. I'm going to keep stitching on my shenanigans, and then think about 25 minutes or whatever once a week on my trees and see what happens. And I'm not going to designate a day because then there's a chance for not meeting that, and I'm not going to do that to myself. And I'm going to keep stitching on my Prairie Schooler, which is so fun. And think about using that glow-in-the-dark thread. How fun would that be? Oh, such good ideas. Thank you for coming by. Please hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you're subscribed. Hit the bell so you'll know when I put one up again. And we'll see you next time here, maybe with some Cosmo threads. Keeping my fingers crossed. And I'll be able to tell you how my acorn gathering goes. Love you guys. Take care. Be safe and healthy, and keep stitching.